Hello my fine friends. This is the second time that I'm making this video because my microphone completely failed last time and you could barely hear me and ugh. So if I sound rushed it's because I'm now doing this in a rush because I've already done it. So this first one that I wore this week, because it's been a bit of an up and down week in terms of we had some warm weather, it felt like spring in the UK, and then we have reverted back to grey, cold, rain, like wind, ugh, horrible. But it was quite warm when I wore this one. This is Love by Lush. This is from their perfume library. If you want a bit more information about this one, then my first Black Label video is already up and I talk about it there. But I have to say I got a really lovely citrusy vibe from this week. It's also ever so slightly cozy, but the citrus lasts the whole entire wear. I think this is easily, I mean you can smell it on your skin as a skin scent for way more than 4 hours, but I think I wore this for about 4 hours before I even slightly felt the need to put any more on. I took a tiny little decant with me to work. Okay. The notes in this are top notes of lemongrass. Top note. They haven't actually done this in order. It's lemongrass, cinnamon, Amalfi lemon, red apple, bergamot, rose, jasmine, and ylang ylang. So, in typical Lush style, it has the three favourite Lush florals: rose, jasmine, and ylang ylang. And in their perfumes, it tends to be those florals, but in different concentrations. So whereas some of the florals that I have with these, it's more ylang ylang, sometimes it's more rose, sometimes it's more jasmine. This one is a really kind of balanced mixture. I don't necessarily think that any of them is massively stronger than the other. Possibly the ylang ylang's the lowest in the mix because it's not massively banana-y, this one, but the lemongrass gives it an unusual slightly green citrusiness, but it's mainly lemon. I'd say this citrus, it's like a really beautiful lemon, slightly aromatic, and then you get a lot of like juicy, almost baked apple, but it's like an unsweetened baked apple, even though this does have a sweetness to it. If you've ever like baked an apple and you've not put a ton of sugar on it, that's the kind of apple you get in here. Some people talk about it being like an apple pie because of the apple and cinnamon, but I think this is more like the insides, like the actual filling. If you've made it with Granny Smith or not Granny Smith, what they call crab apples, cooking apples. So if you've made an apple pie filling with a small amount of sugar, some some cooking apples, and I always say Granny Smith because they're kind of sharp, right? But they're crab apples, I think, the ones that are designed for cooking, or we use for cooking. And then some cinnamon before you've put like a sweet crumble or a sweet pastry or whatever with it and covered it in sugar. That's the kind of apple you get in this, and you definitely get cinnamon. But you get that lemon, you get that slightly interesting lemongrass, which definitely some people won't like, but I think it's really nice. But then there's something slightly cozy about it. You could definitely wear it all year round. It's totally delicious. I love Love. That came in my big bundle that I got from eBay, so I didn't pay anywhere near full price for that. And I like I said in that video, the expensive perfumes from Lush, I get them on eBay. Okay, I was so happy to wear this again. This is one of my, I think in spring summer I'd describe this as one of my signature scents. I have a few, and I wore 2 of them this week because I was so excited that we had some sunshine and some warmth. I had my legs out with a dress on 2 days this week. Oh my goodness, I love it. I'm obsessed. It's such a cheapie, but it's such a goodie. Guess Dare. This is the original Guess Dare. I've never smelt the double Dare because I've never seen it for a bargainous price, whereas this one is a tester bottle, hence this it does have a rose gold lid, but it's not this shape. This is a lid from something else. But I adore this perfume. It's heavenly. So this is kumquat, pear blossom, lemon blossom in the top. Middle notes are cactus, flower, jasmine, and wild rose. Base notes are musk, woody notes, and coconut. I wouldn't have known there was coconut in this, but I definitely smell those blossoms. I definitely smell a bit of jasmine. I don't really know what cactus flower smells like, but I feel like it's what that with the kumquat is what makes this smell quite unusual. It's beautiful. I love it. I have 2 other perfumes that smell a bit like it, one of which I'm going to declutter because there's more of a woody vibe in it, and I think the jasmine's a bit more indolic in that, and that's Starfruit and White Flowers from Aqua Colonia. I was obsessed with that one until I found this and then I was like, oh my god, this is like a gentle, beautiful, heaven, sweet, delicious perfume. It's slightly ethereal. It's got that kind of vibe about it, like spring blossom. And also JLo Blue Glow smells quite a lot like this, but it has a more vanillic dry down and a slightly more, even more bar soapy kind of musk in that typical JLo way. So yeah, I absolutely love Guess Dare, and I'm so happy that it's the right time of year for me to wear it again, because it's a little bit too delicate for me to wear in winter. I mean, you could wear it, but I think it wouldn't make the best of it, you know. Same with this one. This is definitely better in warmer weather. This is JLo Still, one of my absolute favourites. I mean, this and Guess Dare are possibly some of my favourite ever blind buys. As you can see, it's got this kind of blocky kind of texture on the front. The colour of this is exactly what you would expect for the way that this absolutely heavenly perfume smells. I think most people like this. I've only ever heard a couple of people say they don't like this, so there must be something in it that irritates some people. But also, if you try it in winter, it's going to be way sharper. This is definitely a perfume that lends itself to warm weather, and then it's refreshing and gorgeous. It's crisp, but it's also just so comforting. To me, it smells like a cup of jasmine tea. But the colder the weather is, the more you're going to get the sharper note. So top notes of this are Earl Grey tea, white pepper, mandarin orange, apple and rice, and you get way more of a very crisp green apple and a kind of pithy, zesty mandarin orange in the top of this when you first spray it, but that lasts throughout the wear way more if you wear it in cold weather, which is why I wear this one when it starts to warm up. Middle notes are jasmine, lily of the valley, freesia, honeysuckle, orange blossom and rose. I get a bit of honeysuckle. I get a lot of that jasmine, but it is like an edible jasmine. It's not in any way like screechy or dirty. I think you get more of the lily of the valley in cold weather. I think that's just how that rolls, which is why it becomes a little bit less comfortable. Base notes, pepper, musk, sandalwood, iris and amber. So although this is crisp and perfect for warm weather, because it's got that white pepper and rice and pepper, although I wouldn't think of this as a super peppery perfume, it just gives it this beautiful warmth. It's just lush. I absolutely love Still. I'm so happy that I purchased that one. It's just an absolute stunner. Oh, sticking with JLo. I'm still not sure what I think about this one, to be honest. When I did my video, this is JLo L.A Glow. I do love the colour of this bottle. It's kind of hard to see, but it's like a purple at the bottom and a pink at the top, and it's ombre. I think it's super pretty. I really like it. But I said in the video I think this will be better in warm weather, but actually when I tried it in warm weather, I liked it less than I did in cold weather. I really like the berries in it, but there is a shampooy soapiness to this that I'm not entirely sure I can get on board with. And it very much has the base notes or the base feel of Miami Glow, you know, and that one I find very strong and beastly. And I think, despite what I initially thought, I think both of those I might prefer in cold weather. I think they will just, I think they'll hold up against especially Miami Glow. That's such a beast. I think that will hold up really well in cold weather, so we'll see. This is top notes of blackberry, plum and cherry, middle notes of magnolia, jasmine and peony, base notes musk and amber. Now I think this gets compared a lot to Midnight Fantasy. I don't think this smells like Midnight Fantasy. I think Midnight Fantasy is super sweet. It's way more shampooy than this one, if you can even imagine that. I think it's got a slightly more screechy vibe running throughout it, but it also, in the beginning, smells like an incredibly sweet blueberry muffin with a sugary top. This doesn't smell edible at all. It absolutely smells more like a kind of soap or body lotion, but a berry body lotion, you know. It's nice, but it's not my favourite. We'll see. We'll see how I get on with that one. This one is the one that kind of reminds me a little bit of Libre by YSL. This is Liz Claiborne Mambo. It's the original Mambo. And there's just something about the general profile. There are elements of the original kind of Libre profile in it, but there's also elements of the gingeriness from Le Parfum. So Le Parfum has a really syrupy, delicious ginger, but it's quite strong, it's quite mature. Mambo is kind of more youthful, more fun. The top notes here are mango, mandarin orange and ylang ylang. Middle notes orange blossom, ginger and hibiscus. The base notes are sandalwood, musk and vanilla. So it's a lot of orange blossom. You definitely get ginger. You get a little bit of the hibiscus, but you get that mango and the mandarin orange. When it dries down, definitely sandalwood, definitely musk, definitely vanilla. This one also smells a bit soapy, the way that Libre does. But like I said, it's almost could be a Libre summer or Libre Le Parfum summer edition. It's super pretty. It lasts okay. It'll be interesting to see how this does in even warmer weather, but I think maybe 4 hours. My friend who came round instantly when she gave me a hug told me I smelled amazing, so she really liked this as well. So I've actually got a compliment on that one. Okay, this one I got this out a few weeks ago when I was going to wear shade, when I did wear shade, and the idea was that I would wear this on the next day and then I could do a proper comparison, but I never really got round to that. So this is Covet by Sarah Jessica Parker. This one definitely does smell like shade from Lush. Even though that's a sandalwood perfume, that also has lavender and citruses in it. And then this one, the top notes are Sicilian lemon, lavender, dark chocolate and pelargonium leaf. I've definitely not said that right, but hopefully, we'll just have to deal with that. I never read that right. Middle notes of lily of the valley, honeysuckle and magnolia. Base notes of musk, cashmere wood, teak wood, vetiver and amber. So the honeysuckle here is, to me, it's the most dominant of all those florals, but you also get a lot of lavender, and you can definitely get that lemon. So it's a lemon and lavender perfume with a really sweet honeysuckle. The woods, even though it's not sandalwood, it kind of gives me that vibe. It's really smooth, and then I really smell the dark chocolate. So it's a really pretty perfume. It's weird, and it's a very specific taste, I think, as to whether you'd like it or not. But I think it's super cozy. It's kind of too hot to wear this now, but I wore it on a colder day when I was in like at home, Covet. There it is. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about it. It's an old one, and when I first got it and I reviewed it, I was like, I don't know if I like this, I'm not sure. Because this is the one that my husband told me he thought was sexy, and I was like, well, he just thinks it's sexy because it's kind of sweet and syrupy, and it kind of smells like other perfumes that I've smelt before, and it does. And I struggle to kind of remember the ones that I'd smelt before I got this, but I feel like it may be one of the Miss Dior's at some point, or it's definitely something from Dior, I think, had this kind of vibe to it. It only lists Goji Berry and Cactus. There's no way. I'm pretty sure this has some kind of musk in. I'm pretty sure it's got vanilla in it. It's very sweet. It is actually syrupy. It's the strongest, longest lasting, sweetest and most syrupy of any of the Aqua Colonias that I've smelt, including ones that are actually supposed to have really syrupy ingredients. So, but yeah, so when I first wore it, I wasn't sure about it, because what it put me in mind of in a weird way is a sort of fruit chuli without the patchouli. It had that kind of sweet berries mixed with something that felt slightly floral. I wasn't really sure what it was. But as it turns out, Goji Berry just has like a really specific smell, because this one, I love it now. Every time I wear it, I absolutely love it. And it does actually make me feel quite sexy. And I think that's because it's quite girly. But I realised that I had something that I bought after this one that actually reminds me of it quite a lot. Also has Goji Berry. So I wore this all day. I didn't even need to respray it. If you get this on your clothes, it lasts so long. It's really impressive. It's way better than an eau de toilette in terms of lasting power, even though it's supposed to be a cologne spray. So the one I'm talking about is Prerogative Ego from Britney Spears. The original Prerogative smells a bit like a really sweet, like latte, but like with not much coffee in it, you know. It smells like the kind of thing you get when you're young before you actually really enjoy coffee, but you just want a warm, sweet, creamy drink, you know. That's what that reminds me of. It's not very strong, doesn't last very long, but I really like that perfume. This one, I can tell that they are kind of flankers of each other, but this one is way amped up on the fruitiness. It's way stronger. It's even sweeter. And I think I get even less of the coffee in this one, even though there is just that slight coffee running through it. But it smells like my Goji berry and cactus, but like a really creamy version of that, a much sweeter, more winter appropriate. So I wore this in the evening. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's definitely too sweet for this time of year. So what I've decided to do is that, you know, this is my spring summer Goji berry perfume, and this is my autumn winter. So I'm very happy about that. This has notes of sandalwood, apricot, coffee, amberwood, arum lily, saffron, pink pepper, and goji berries. Does that really describe what this smells like? I'm not really sure. I think I can, like I said, there's a lot of goji berries. There's a tiny bit of coffee. There's definitely something incredibly sweet in this that isn't listed. I'm pretty sure there's vanilla. There might also be tonka. It's almost caramelly in the same way that the other one is quite caramelly. I mean, it's weird. It doesn't explain it. So I also got this. I ordered this ages ago, and the person I bought it from on eBay didn't pay the right amount of postage, so it took forever. I had to pay to get it delivered, very annoyingly. So anyway, I finally got hold of it. I was never going to buy this full price because I hadn't been able to test it beforehand, and I'm not paying £25 for 10ml of perfume. That's madness for me. That's how much I spend on like a whole 100ml bottle normally. So Kayali Citrus 08. This at the back says bergamot, pink grapefruit, rose, centiflora, and musk and oak moss. So I loved the idea of a grapefruit, pink grapefruit and rose perfume, and it's called Citrus. So I was like, oh, it's going to be citrusy. Nope, not really. I mean, it is, but it doesn't smell the way you'd expect it. And I think that's why lots of people don't like this. It smells very perfumey, and I think that's probably down to the oak moss. I think there's something about the oak moss that just gives this like quite a vintagey smell compared to what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be kind of a thinner perfume, more watery, more fresh. This is a bit more syrupy. It's just not at all what I expected, but it smells exactly the same as something I've already got. So I'll read you the notes before I carry on. Top notes here: pink grapefruit, rhubarb, bergamot, blackcurrant, pink pepper. Middle notes: Bulgarian rose, damask rose. Base notes: oak moss, musk, and tonka bean. So it does have a sharpness because there's so many citruses. I get quite a lot of the blackcurrant, a tiny bit of the rhubarb. Yes, rose, definitely. Quite a lot of oak moss. And I don't mind that, but I think it's what's giving this almost a kind of old school chypre smell, but like in a really light way, like a summer chypre, if that makes sense. And yeah, the tonka bean does definitely sweeten it up a little bit. It's definitely musky. Like I said, I can totally understand why people don't like this, but I wore it like for a whole day. I really enjoyed it, and I was going for like a lady date with one of my friends, going out for dinner, and again, she's quite a classy lady. This smells like a classy perfume to me. But yeah, it doesn't smell how I expected. What it does smell like, almost exactly, is an old signature scent of mine that I wore literally as my signature scent for a couple of years, and that is Yves Saint Laurent In Love Again. This is also quite an expensive perfume. This one, I think, used to be, when I bought it, about £75 for 80ml. It's one of the reasons, I mean, I used to get it on eBay again, but like, it's one of the reasons that I used to be looking so hard for another signature scent, and I sort of just stopped wearing signature scents in the end. But In Love Again is a beautiful, syrupy muscat perfume. It literally smells like muscat wine. There are muscat grapes in this. So this smells like a dessert wine. It smells like a sweet, floral dessert wine. That's the kind of vibe it gives me because it smells so much like this, and I think that's what this smells like. So in Love Again, blackcurrant, mandarin orange, middle notes, grape, rose, peony, base notes, blackberry and musk. I think there's way more going on in Love Again, but because this is like the reformulated modern version of it, they don't list all the notes. But the old one, I think, had like tomato leaf, so it had like that green element. It had like loads of things listed that aren't in this, apparently. But I get blackcurrant, I get grapes, I get mandarin orange, rose, and it's musky. So it's just so similar. And as soon as I sprayed this one out, I knew immediately. I was like, oh, that's just In Love Again. It's even like the same colour. I love In Love Again. Like I said, it was my signature scent for years. So I really like this a lot. And I would never buy a full bottle of it. If I didn't already have this and I smelt this, I would absolutely get a 100ml bottle of it because it would be right up my alley. But because I already have this, I don't need a big bottle of this, especially not at the price. But it's nice to have this little one because, of course, like, this is a nightmare to travel anywhere with. You never want to take it anywhere. It's huge. It's like really gets in the way. So yeah, so basically I really like this, but I can totally see why other people don't. If you've smelt In Love Again and you like it, or you used to have the old version and you like it, you should try this one because it's really very, very similar. Wearing it was pretty much exactly the same experience. It lasted probably about the same amount of time, which isn't very long. This doesn't last very long. It's quite light. This, if anything, slightly heavier, but really pretty. I liked it. It's nice to have a Kayali I actually like. I love the Utopia one, and I actually won a bid on eBay for that, and then Royal Mail lost it. So I'm back to square one of trying to get that perfume because I'm not paying full price for that. It would be insane. Yeah, so I hope that this was an interesting one. I had a lovely week full of delicious fragrances. I did a little haul recently, and I can't wait to show you what I got because although there were a couple of cheap fails in it, there were a couple of absolute brilliant ones that I'm instantly obsessed with, and I can't wait to tell you about them.